So you want to move to Portugal, but you need to have a NIF and a bank account. What are those and how do you get them? So we're going to go into this in this video. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Krishan Wright. I am the founder of Blaxit Global and the host of the Blaxit Global podcast. Blaxit Global exists to empower and inspire members of the African diaspora to pursue a life abroad. If that sounds interesting to you, you are in the right place. Be sure to like this video and subscribe so you can see more of our content. So I'm in the process of leaving the United States and moving to Portugal this year. And part of the requirements for what I am applying for, the D7, is that I have what's called a NIF and a Portuguese bank account. So I had to figure out how I'm going to do this. And I have been for the past year learning Portuguese. I've been taking Portuguese with Carla. Shout out to her. Her course is phenomenal, and it has really improved my ability to read and somewhat say in Portuguese, but I can read and at least write much better than I feel comfortable speaking. But if you're from the United States, you know, whether you've opened a bank account or a credit card, the whole process can be overwhelming, right? There's terms and conditions, and even though it's in English, there's a lot of legalese. So imagine that in a country and a language that you're not exactly familiar with. So I had to realize that I needed to work smarter and not harder. So we'll go into a little bit why things are the way they are. The NIF is almost like a tax ID number, and it helps you kind of catalog all of the purchases that you do and transactions. You pay your rent using your NIF. If you're at the store, you would use that number. And basically at the end of the year, it'll give you a summary. And so as far as your bank account is concerned, you can't necessarily use your United States bank account for transactions because Portugal is on the euro. And so even if you think about an international bank like, say, Santander, that wouldn't qualify, even though they have bank offices in Portugal. It needs to be a Portuguese bank account. So not to complicate this any more than it needed to be, but we'll talk a little bit about why it's challenging for U.S. citizens to hold bank accounts in foreign lands. There is a document called the FBAR. It's a disclosure that every American that lives abroad or holds accounts in foreign countries has to fill out every year, as long as the aggregate, the total amount that they have in any accounts overseas is $10,000 or more. So remember, in aggregate, you don't get away from having, I've got 5,000 in this country or in this account, and I've got 5,000 here, as long as it doesn't get to 10 in each account. No. It's a total, baby. It's a total. You know how Uncle Sam is. He's not one of those kind uncles. So anyway, the FBAR stands for the Report on Foreign and the report, I'm gonna try this one more time. The Report on Foreign Bank and Financial Accounts. It's a disclosure form. You just have to fill it out every year. But if you don't do it, like I said, that nasty, not so nice Uncle Sam is just gonna be all up in your business. And it's like a huge fine. So you wanna make sure you do that. So anyway, every US citizen, again, who holds bank accounts in foreign lands and an aggregate of $10,000 a year has to fill out this form. So you can imagine that countries like Portugal or any country, right? The United States is placing a burden on those countries to basically snitch on all of us that have bank accounts over there. And so they're like, look, we don't really want all your people coming over here, open up all these accounts because you're creating more work for our people. And so we're not trying to feel that. So in 2022, what happened was a lot of banks in Portugal actually stopped opening bank accounts for foreigners. And US citizens, especially with all our little disclosures that we have to fill out, we got the brunt of that end of the stick. So again, it makes opening a bank account and knowing which bank, a bit more challenging. Again, even in addition to the language barrier. So, like I said, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. My child is about to graduate high school. She's going to college. I've got to pack up my life in the United States. And oh, that's right. I actually have the podcast, the Blaxit Global Podcast, and our wonderful community, Blaxit Global Passport, that I shepherd all of these people that are moving to countries, whether it be Portugal or Costa Rica or Vietnam or Mexico, right? And so again, I had to find a way to simplify my life. And that is where Border came into play. So Border, and I'm going to share my screen so it makes it super easy. So Border takes the guesswork and the legwork out of all of this. So they are specialists in helping you understand the process. So they're your trusted partner in Portugal. Say that 10 times fast. They're your trusted partner in Portugal. And so if you go to their website, you can see they have specialties in opening your NIF, your bank account, or you can do the NHR consultation. We won't talk about the NHR process in this video. I'm trying to keep it really centered on the NIF and the bank account, but if you want another in-depth video about the D7 process, I'm more than happy to do that. Please just leave a comment below this video and let me know. So when you go to Border, say you want to do the NIF or the bank account, or you can do it together, which is what I did. So I was able to go to their website, right? I picked my services, opened my bank account, and then it asked me, it actually shows me what is necessary to open the account. So for the NIF, which was wonderful because it took like it took about 2 to 3 days. And see, they even have it here. Due to change in policies, they can only support certain countries. Thankfully, the United States is one of them. But even with that, there's only a certain number of banks in Portugal that will open up foreign bank accounts, especially for us Americans. But the great thing about it is that Border really does the process really in a smooth and efficient way. And so you place your order and you get your documents, and I'll step you through how it was for me. So it started with the NIF. I was able to go and fill out the information. My NIF came first, the tax number that I referenced earlier, and that came in about 2 to 3 days. And then it was time for the bank account. And so I placed my order, which I had already done that in the beginning. And then the first thing that happened was Border had asked me for my proof of citizenship. So I had to share my passport, a copy of my passport, a copy of my driver's license for proof of residency, and also a copy of income to verify that I had income. And so I uploaded those documents to Border. Then they send back a confirmation saying they received it. And then the next thing I was presented with was a power of attorney. And so I signed the power of attorney to allow them to start the process of opening the bank account on my behalf. And then they presented after a few days, they confirmed that, they were able to get the documents from the bank. And then they took time to read through the documents to make sure that everything looked in good order, right? That my name was spelled correctly, that my date of birth was right, all of that before I got to see the documents. And then I had an opportunity to see the documents. And what was great is, again, this is in Portugal, right? So the documents are in Portuguese. But Border is so great that they provided me with many of the pages had the English translation. So I was able to understand and read everything that I was about to sign because, like I said, when you're talking about money, you do not want to do this alone, okay? So I was able to read through the document to understand any fees, what type of bank account I would have, what type of, time frame, etc. Went through the whole process. After I was able to confirm, again, everything looked good, right? My name was spelled correctly, date of birth, all of this stuff, my address, my country of citizenship, etc. I signed those documents. Well, actually, I don't sign the documents yet. Spoke too fast. I confirmed that those documents were good to go. Then you print out all the documents, and it's a lot of pages, y'all. It was like 60 pages, like 60. So again, imagine doing this alone. Like I said, you could do it DIY, but look, I ain't got that kind of time. I write checks. So I read through everything, and then the next step was to schedule time with an attorney in Portugal on their team. And so that morning, and then I scheduled my appointment, I think the next day, and I met with an attorney who actually watched me sign all of the pages that required my signature. So in order to make it super easy for me and her, because you have about 15 minutes, and like I said, it's a lot of pages. So what I did is I organized all of the pages, and then I put stickies where my signature was required. This way, when I had the meeting, all I had to do was flip to the pages that were color-coded, and this way I made the most of our time together. I signed all the documents, and then look, I thought when I was done, I was going to be ready to go, because you have to mail the documents to Portugal. They actually have to have the hard copy. It's old school. It's not like, going to Ally or Fidelity, put your little thing online. No, 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 no. I had to send it via DHL. So I was like, okay. So I figured, okay, being an attorney, you're done. I'm going to hightail it out. Not so fast. The attorney was like, hey, I just saw you watch all the, sign all the documents, but I then had to upload all of the signature pages, only the signature pages, so that Border could verify that I had signed them correctly, because they match the signature from your passport, essentially, to the signature that's on the document, to make sure that everything is on the up and up. Again, when you're dealing with financial services, when you're dealing with any legal documents, you want to make sure that the utmost care is taken, and security, of course, is paramount. So, the attorney had looked at my passport. Again, she verified who I am, who I say I am, etc. And so I had to upload all of those. So I actually couldn't mail the documents until Border had confirmed that I executed it properly. Because had I just run to DHL and said, okay, I'm done, and mailed it, what if I had signed my name in abbreviated, or if it wasn't legible, or if I signed on the wrong line? Because again, the documents are in Portuguese that I signed. I had an English translation, but the documents are in Portuguese. And so I really appreciated the extra level of care. So I couldn't send the documents until Border confirmed that everything was executed properly. And then I repackaged them. And much to my surprise, I think it was same day, later that day, that I received confirmation, even though they said it takes about, 2 days to confirm that, the signatures are accurate, et cetera. They were pretty fast. And so I was actually able to still go to DHL, which was pretty far from me, because I wanted to go like as close to the airport as possible. I'm like, look, I'm gonna put this in your hands and you're gonna fly this to Portugal. So I mailed the documents to the attorney's office in Portugal. I mailed it on a Friday. They arrived in Portugal on Tuesday, and you send everything with tracking. You make sure you label it, that the documents are actually for your lawyer. This way, they won't get caught up in customs. I mean, there's a possibility that, you might find a customs agent that wants to kind of, be suspicious of the documents, but at least if you label that they are legal documents for an attorney, it's often less likely. Come Tuesday, the documents arrived in Portugal. I had tracking, got confirmation that Border received it at the attorney's office. They verified that everything was still in good order. And in order to make sure like those documents got there, because you never know, could be rain, sleet, whatever, I actually bagged everything and then put it in the mailer. make it super easy. Anyway, they confirmed receipt of the documents, took them to the bank, and I think it was the next day I started receiving communications, text messages from the bank. It was Millennium Bank in Portugal, and they confirmed my account information, that I had my IBAN number, and that's just how you send money within the country. Or actually, you can send it internationally using your IBAN number. And so I confirmed all of that, got in touch with my banker because they sent me an email saying your bank account is open. Here's your banker. My banker sent me a lovely message. Then that was it. All I had to do was fund my account within the next 30 days with the minimum amount for the D7, which I think is somewhere around 7,000 euro. And to make it easy, what you can do is you can either wire from, if you have a Schwab account or Fidelity, or if your US bank allows you to do international wires, you can do an international wire, or you can use the service like Wise. I'll put a link below this video for you as well. And all you have to do is then put the money in the account and you're good to go. So I was hoping that you were going to stay to the end of this video because, like I said, there's some lovely goodies that I have. So below this video, you will see a link to Border. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you use their service. It will help you save your sanity, keep you organized so that you can use your time efficiently. Moving abroad is not easy. There are a lot of things that need to be done from a process perspective, not to mention the emotional rigors that it just really invites on any given day. And so to the extent that you can offload some of these tasks with a trusted partner, it will help. So $10 off of Border using our code. You will find it below this video, as well as, like I said, the links for Portuguese with Carla. You can give it a try, learn some Portuguese, that'll help you, as well as a link for you to open your account with Wise. So like I said, I hope this video helps. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like and subscribe. And you know what? Hopefully I will see you there in Portugal.